So today I'm going to be doing a review on two new Korean beauty products to me that I got in my most recent Rosary Shop haul, and these are from the brand Innisfree. These are called the My Drop, and I have two different versions of this. So the first one I have is called the Volume Glow, and the second one I have is called the Tone Up Blender. I think there are about 5 or 6 different variations of this product. I think they have like the glow one, the one that will lighten a foundation color, one that will darken one. I think they have like an oil or like a hydrating one, and I think they also have maybe a mattifying one as well. So they've definitely got a few options to choose from. Like I said, I got mine from Rosary Shop and I paid about $6 and maybe some change for these. And one thing I really loved about this was, of course, the price was very affordable, but also the packaging of this is so nice for $6. This is an actual like glass packaging. It's like this really nice looking frosted glass, and it has a really trendy dropper bottle. So I'm going to try these out today for the first time and give you guys my first impression review of these. So first I'm going to apply the Volume Glow to my face. So I'm going to skip to that clip now. This is a light kind of pearly pink illuminating type of product. So I'm going to take just a little bit of this. As you can see, it's got a cute little dropper bottle, but to be completely honest, I don't really think the dropper is like necessarily that perfect for this type of product, just because it's a tiny bit thicker. It definitely does work, but I feel like that's just like a super trendy kind of packaging thing at the moment. So this is the product on my hand. I'm going to apply this all over my face. Now, to be honest, I wish I would have thought this through, but I did put a little bit of a facial oil on my skin a couple minutes ago, so my face looks probably a little bit more shiny than it does naturally. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this on both of my hands, and I'm going to apply this all over my face. I'm gonna take just a tiny drop more and just kind of focus that mainly on my cheekbone area, where I would prefer a little bit more kind of illumination. Okay, so this is how my skin looks with the product applied. I must say it like doesn't have too much of a like feeling to it. It kind of most feels like an oil that kind of really like sinks into the skin. There's like a tiny bit of like a feeling to the skin, but once I put foundation on, I really don't think that would be noticeable at all. As far as what it does to the skin, I think it definitely gives a little bit more of a dewy, luminous kind of quality to the skin, but there isn't any like super identifiable like shimmer or like glitter particles or anything like that. It just really kind of gives a really soft kind of dewy finish to it. So this could be really good to mix in if you have like matte foundations that are just a little bit too dry looking. You could probably mix in a couple drops of this with your foundation and give it much more of like a dewy or a skin-like kind of finish. Or of course you can apply it directly to your skin like I did today. I think both options are totally doable. But if you are super oily to begin with, then you probably wouldn't want or need this product. So I like these options because you can kind of tailor your foundations a little bit more to your personal preferences. Like say you have one that is the perfect color, but the finish is not exactly what you would like, then using a couple drops of a certain type of booster kind of could do really good things at kind of, you know, making that foundation work a little bit better for you. So the next one I'm going to try is the Tone Up Blender. So this is obviously one that's going to lighten your foundation. For me, that is the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Foundation. This is my like holy grail foundation, but honestly, like there's probably like maybe 6 colors of this, and the lightest one is not light enough for me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a little bit of this to the back of my hand. I'm going to add a couple drops of this and mix together. I'll do a little swipe on my cheek to show you kind of the color, and then I will also do a swipe of the product alone on my cheek. That way we can kind of get a real-time comparison of how much this lightened the product. So I've got this much on my hand. I'm going to take a little bit of the lightening drops, and I'm going to let's see. Okay, so I did a little bit, about half and half of the product. I meant to do a little bit less of the lightning drops, but so that's about the ratio that I have. I'm going to kind of blend this together. So now I have it all mixed together. I think, to be honest, I'm gonna add just a couple more drops just because I feel like that didn't visually lighten it too much. So I'm going to add about that much more and blend that in as well. Okay, so now I have the mixed color. I'm going to do just a little stripe on my cheek there, and I'm going to take on a clean finger the original color and compare the two. So this is the one with the lightened color, and this is the one from the original package. So I think it definitely did do a little bit of lightening, but to be honest, I would have expected, for the amount of product I put into the mixture. I would have expected it to be a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this all over my face and see how I like it. Okay, so this is how my foundation looks all applied. My thoughts on it so far. So to be honest, I don't really think it lightened as much as I expected it to, especially like looking at the color of it. And if I take this color alone, and let me kind of like isolate a little bit of it onto my hand. So it looks like it's pretty pigmented, but once you kind of blend it in, you can see it really does start to sheer out quite a bit. It's not necessarily as like a super full coverage type of color drop like you might expect from the Cover FX custom drops. This one definitely does sheer out a little bit, but I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and come back with my final thoughts and who I would recommend these products to. So overall, my thoughts on these. So I definitely do like the Volume Glow one. However, it's a little bit more subtle than I was expecting, but that could also be a good thing because I have some other ones, like this is the Sleek Bare Kissed Illuminator. It's very similar like color wise. I think this one's like slightly more pinky, but this one is a lot more intense like color wise. Like if you put too much of this on your skin, it could look a little bit like shiny, and I find that that's not necessarily the case with this one. I feel like you'd have to put a lot of this on to really overdo it. As far as using this as like a highlighter on top of foundation, like if you wanted to tap this in like on your cheekbones or something, I find that it's a little bit too subtle for that in my opinion, because it does tend to disrupt a little bit of the foundation underneath if you apply too much. So that's probably not my favorite use for that. I would definitely either apply this to my bare face before a foundation or mix it in with a foundation to kind of get a little bit more of like that glowy kind of look. So for the Tone Up Blender one, I have to say I'm a tiny bit disappointed with this one, just because I expected this one to do a little bit more as far as lightening the product. I feel like I had to put in quite a bit of this product compared to the foundation. I did about a 2-to-1 ratio of the lightening drops to the foundation, and I found that for as much as I put in, it didn't seem to lighten it noticeably. I feel like some other ones that I've used in the past, like the Hard Candy one, I really like that one, but I feel like they discontinued that one. But that one was really good because it was about, I think it was about $6, and it did a pretty good job. You know, you probably only needed about maybe 3 to 4 drops and it would noticeably lighten a foundation. This one I did quite a bit, and I found that it really was very subtle, because this actual product itself, when you blend it out on its own, it's not going to give you a super full coverage type of lightening effect like the custom Cover FX drops. And the other issue I had with it is I wish that this one was more of just exclusively a lightening product, because I found that this one definitely has, again, more of that like shine, kind of dewy reflectiveness to it. It's not shimmery, but it definitely does give more of like a sheen to the skin, and I wish that wasn't the case, because there are tons of foundations I have that are too dark for me, but I really already like the actual like formula of it and the finish of it, and I found that this can make it more dewy rather than just lightening the product. However, I would have preferred if this was purely just a lightening product, and I wish it didn't have as much as an effect as it did with changing the actual finish of the foundation rather than just changing the color of it. One other thing I did forget to mention is that these products don't really have any discernible fragrancing to it, which I find is very not very common. I feel like a lot of Korean beauty products tend to have some type of scent to it, but as far as these, I really don't pick up on any type of fragrancing to it. So if you are sensitive to any fragrances, then know that these don't really have any. So overall, in the end, would I recommend this product or not? I still think I would recommend it if you know these little kind of caveats that come with the actual Tone Up color. So if you are okay with it going a little bit dewy and a little bit lightening, then this could be a good option for you. But like I mentioned, I just expected it to be purely a lightening product. And of course, for the volume one, I thought this one was okay. I didn't necessarily think it was, you know, extremely necessary, but I do enjoy using this one, and I will continue using probably both of these products in the future. I think overall, in the scheme of other things I've tried, there are definitely ones I like more. So I definitely think that they're worth a try. And for $6, I think it's definitely not that big of an investment if you end up not liking liking it, but I definitely think I would recommend these maybe more towards people who already have dry skin to normal skin, because especially with these two, since they do go a little bit more dewy, if you already have oily skin, it might be a little bit more than you actually want. So as far as a buy or bye-bye for these, it's truly more one of those like middle of the road for me. It's not like this was terrible or this was amazing. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the bye-bye kind of side, just because I find that my expectations didn't quite match the product outcome, but it's definitely not a bad thing. It's just a little bit different than what I thought. But packaging wise, I think they look really nice. They're really like sturdy. They don't feel cheap in the hand at all. Like this feels like a really nice product. So I really enjoy that. And of course, I think the product is suitable for certain types of people, but you could definitely give it a try. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram. Link is below. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.